Salutations and welcome to the Mana Bar Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Rhodes, and I'm joined here with Matt Samarco.
Hey, what's going on?
Dan Party.
Heyo.
And Pikachu.
Pikachu!
Thank God he did the short one.
That's right, Dan. This is episode 14 on July 24th. July 25th.
24th.
Okay.
Thursday, July 25th.
I mean, I think that
This is when the episode is happening.
I think the jig. I think if the jig is up, everyone knows
leap
that we
hour
can't time travel.
I don't really want to
between
say
the
date
days
anymore. I'm just going to let Matt do it if he wants to.
It's
We
important.
can say the week of.
No.
Okay.
It's important. Lets people know what time it is. So they're not listening to the wrong podcast. I've done that.
That is true. That is
We'll
true.
listen to the wrong podcast.
That's why I was
for
thinking
like
the
30
week.
minutes, and I'll be like, why are they talking about Silent Hill 3?
All right, I'll save it for the
As if it just came
Mana Bar Board of Directors meeting podcast. Slow news week this week. We don't have really any huge news items to talk about, nor did either of you decide to bring anything to the table to talk about.
Nope.
I came up with the topic this week. Actually, I
That was a great episode, guys. I feel like we're really streamlining it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see you here
So
next week.
we're gonna go into the games we're playing pretty briefly, and then I have a special segment we're gonna do.
Oh, Jesus.
That's I don't know how long it's gonna take.
Matt, were you aware
I
of
think
this?
it'll be a lot of fun.
Did you hear any screaming before he?
It's gonna be fun.
All right. All right.
And then we're going to go into our general discussion topic. This week come up with by Dan on our favorite.
I also have to admit that this is something that I got from one of our listeners, Miss Gardner. She came up with kind of the idea, and I was like, you know what? That's something I'm going to run with. So I want to give her credit.
Katie
it was
from
my
Ireland.
choice, but it was her idea that I ran with. So I want to give her the credit.
Thank you, Katie. I'm sorry Dan couldn't come up with anything on his own.
No, I thought it was a great topic,
No,
and
that
I
was a great topic.
We'll send you his pay for the week.
Yeah.
Which is
We get
0.
nothing.
all of nothing. You actually have to pay.
But
Wait,
before we
do you guys
start-
have to pay to be in this? I have to pay.
We all have to pay for the
Oh yeah.
we're
Speaking
actually
of which, I
losing-
think I owe you money.
yeah, you still do.
Yes.
Before we get into that, I just want to say again, this podcast is still trying to grow. We're still, getting into our groove with this. If you like this podcast, please share it with your friends. Please review it on the podcast apps. I found out recently that I think Apple is really the only place you can review podcasts. Unfortunately, it wouldn't let me do it on, or you could do it on.
That's really silly.
You could do it on Podbean too, but Spotify, Google Play, all of those places, they use the RSS feed, so you can't actually review them on the apps themselves. So if you are listening to this on an Apple device or through Apple, please give us a review. If you're listening to YouTube, please give us a subscribe and a like and comment if you'd like. Feedback is very important to us. So if you have anything that you'd like us to talk about more, talk about less, any ideas you have on what we could do better, or just a game that you want to recommend us play, please email us at manabarpodcast@gmail.com or tweet at us at manabarpodcast on Twitter. And with that, what your boys playing? I'm going to start. Not a lot.
Wow. Ouch. Thanks.
What specifically?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Nothing, huh? You
I
didn't play
say
anything.
nothing. I said not a lot.
Not
All
a
right.
lot.
Then
yeah.
which
I see how it
games?
is.
If I'm counting the amount of games I played.
Okay.
I saw you playing games.
Actually, I did play quite a few games this week, just not.
Yeah, Andy, let's throw it back on you. What did you play?
Just the normal rounds of Apex, and then I also received Mario Maker 2 in the mail from GameFly. So I was going into that. I tried out the story mode for a little bit. It wasn't really grabbing me. Kind of like you, Matt. You weren't really into the story. Actually, you didn't really get into the
It's
game.
more of a training.
No, I didn't.
It's more like a training module.
Well, see, that's the thing. Before I went in to go make my own level, and they have their own kind of quirky training thing with this girl and a pigeon for whatever reason. And it actually goes very in-depth. Like, it goes in-depth on things like, hey, this is how you make a bad level, but this is how you make a good one. Hey, don't be a dick. That's basically what he was saying. Like, don't make it super, super
I did like how they put that as like the tutorial, because a lot of people in the first one were being
Yeah.
dicks. They were just like, oh, let's just make a level where no one is going to be able to beat
Yeah.
it. So I like the fact that they were enforcing, hey, make a fun level.
Yeah.
The more fun the level is, the more people are going to want to share it and send it to other people.
Yeah, so I've been still working on my level that I'm making, and there's a lot of tools, so it's a little overwhelming at first. So it's kind of taken me a while to get used to, like, oh, what tools do what and what would look really cool and how it would act.
Yeah, that's why the main story is basically like a giant tutorial to show you all the crazy new stuff you can
ain't
do.
nobody got time for that.
I don't, either.
It's
I was
addicting
like 3
to, like,
levels in. I was like,
switch-
this is taking too long.
It's addicting to like switch like different styles, different levels. Like half the time I'm like, oh, you know what? This would be cool in SNES version, and I'd play it, and I'd be like, oh, this would be really cool in Super Mario 3, and this would be cool with a pilot, and I just keep like switching the background, and it's crazy.
I will say
the amount
level I'm making is based in Super Mario World.
Oh, I wanted to just kind of throw it at me when you're ready. All right, fine, that's fine.
That's all. It's just that's the theme I chose. That's not a big deal.
Okay, don't tell me the actual theme.
Is your goal to make it fun or difficult?
A little bit of both. I feel like
I'm not making it too difficult to like nobody. Like I'm playtesting it a lot to make sure like, oh, is this too much?
Andy's gonna pick a mid-level Mario level.
Yeah, I'm very boring.
Well, no,
I'm
that's
not
not
going to go
boring.
extreme on either side. I'm just going to stay vanilla in the middle.
That's what I tried to do with mine. I tried to make it like a little bit difficult, but then obviously nice and easy. I love making levels that are all connected. Like you'll go up and then you'll go down and then
So
you go
you know
over
that
and
it's
down.
Super Mario World, but you don't know which one of the Super Mario World levels I'm
Well, that's why
using.
I was saying don't go
So
too.
there you go. There's still more surprises.
See,
waiting.
there you go. So
Aside from that, Dan and I had a bet last week.
more of a
Wager?
yeah,
Gentleman's agreement.
yes, agreement.
If he played Wind Waker, I would play Soma, and we both did. So I only played 1 hour of Soma. I actually live streamed it on Monday night,
And I watched it.
and
Sweet.
Dan watched it.
I didn't watch it.
And it's very much, and Dan already talked about this game a little on a previous episode, but to me it was very much, here's the Half-Life engine. It's not running on the Half-Life engine. It just feels like it's running on the Half-Life engine. Half-Life and Portal, you can like pick up any little item around and kind of throw it or chuck it or whatever you want. And I was having fun doing that. So it's that engine meets like Alien Isolation, I feel.
And like Bioshocky, I can't. Well, you'll see it later.
okay.
Yeah, as you walked into the tunnel, I was like, ooh.
So I don't want to talk too much about it because I'm only an hour in, but so far I'm really liking it. And it seems like it's going to be a really gripping game, kind of a psych thriller. So that's pretty cool.
You gonna try and finish it?
Oh, absolutely.
Is it more like psyching you out, or is it jump scares, or is it like
Jump scare. It's kind of like, that's why I think it's like Alien Isolation.
played it.
There's something going around, and you're kind of like, you have to go collect tools. It's Dead Space.
Yeah,
too.
you never know when you're
collect
gonna run into
tools,
it.
fix the ship type thing.
It's more it's not cheap jump scares. It's not like, you open it, you press A or I don't want to say like cheap, but it's not like, did you ever play Fear?
I did not.
Okay.
I don't also don't
Alien
really
Isolation.
know what a cheap jump scare is in a video game.
What is it?
What's a cheap jump scare in a video game?
Like you open a door and then like it's a cutscene and it jumps in your face or something like cheap jump scare.
it's there's something around and it just makes noises in the distance and stuff like that. And I
It
don't
does
want to
more
get
than that
worried.
later.
Scary.
I haven't gotten there.
I know.
So-
That's why I was like, keep playing, keep
So
playing.
no, so far I really like it. And I'll definitely be beating it. It's only like a 5-hour game or
No,
6-hour game.
it's probably about 10 to 12.
Oh really? Oh
Yeah.
wow. So I'm barely scratched the surface then.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on how, like, you were like, that's definitely a toilet. And I was just like, yes, Andy, that's a toilet.
I flushed it.
Yes, you did. I was like, oh, God, he's never going to get anywhere. No, but it depends on, like, how intricate or how detailed, because you can find some extra stuff that makes the game a
Yeah,
little bit easier
I'm
for
the type
later.
of guy
but-
where I kind of dick around with everything. Like, ooh, what can I touch? What can I activate? Type thing.
Yeah, but it'll probably take you about
that's how
10.
I was. That's how I was in Portal and Half-Life as well.
Yeah, I mean, you figured the puzzles out pretty quickly. Like, you're like, what do I do with this, this Omni tool thing? But you figured it out. So I'm guessing about 10 to 12 hours.
You're right, Dan. I'm not stupid.
It's not that you're stupid. It can get really frustrating when you play a game and you don't know what to do. Like, they don't give you any
I always
hand-holding.
have trouble in games. I noticed this when playing Zelda in the Minish Cap. It wasn't the hard puzzles that baffled me. It was the really, really stupidly easy things that I'm like, oh. Like, it took me like an hour to figure out. I just had to talk to this one guy to get out of the town, and I like dicked around.
Oh,
for, like,
that's
an
Zelda.
hour.
That's always a
When
Zelda
you have to like
thing.
talk to someone for a second time,
Yeah.
so you just like do everything once, and you're like, I did everything. There's nothing I can do. It's like, oh, you have to talk to him a second time. Just like random stuff like that is frustrating. As
Yeah.
heck.
Well, another thing was the guard would give me a hint like, oh, you don't seem well equipped. And I just didn't think like, oh, the guy who trains me on swordplay has to train me a move. That's what it was. But I didn't know that. So it was just really random like
That was like Zelda 2 did that a lot. Like, you'd have to talk to some wizard and he'd give you an ability. So you'd be like, for the longest time, like, what the hell do I have to do? And it's like, oh, I just needed to go in this friggin' town and talk to the wizard.
Oh, speaking of Zelda, I finally released episode 2 of Link Between Zeldas. I actually recorded it twice. I got to stop doing that. That's both episode 1 and 2. I re-recorded the entire thing just because.
You should release the director's cut.
The director's cut, no.
It's just him going.
I already deleted those files just because I'm like, no, I can do better. But Link Between Zeldas episode 2 came out this past Monday, and I'm going to try to do it every Monday going forward, or at the very least every other Monday. We'll see how that goes.
He's dedicated.
Sweet.
I love talking about Zelda.
He does.
What are you playing?
He does.
I've been kind of all over the place. I've been playing a ton of games because there's really not a ton that's coming out. So I was playing, last we met, I was playing Rogue Galaxy. I played that for another, dozen or so hours. It's still a great game, but three-fourths, I'm going to do 10, 20-second reviews of all these games, I guess. So three-fourths of the way, it just starts to drag on a little. So I kind of fell off of it because it's a lot of okay, go to these, you get this big mission to go to these 3 dungeons, and you just have to go through a ton of floors for 10 hours or so. So I kind of fell off of it.
So just start dragging a little bit.
Yeah, the story. I love a lot of the aspects of the game, the leveling up, the action's fun. The story's actually interesting too. It's just a lot of the dungeons are just kind of generic floor to floor to floor. So there's this long area 3/4 of the way through where it's a dozen or so hours where you're just doing that kind of over and over, where it's just kind of gets monotonous for a while. Yeah. So I've kind of fallen off because there's so much other old stuff I want to play. So I got a new phone. I started playing Elder Scrolls Blades.
And how long did it take you to delete it?
I still have it. It's not great. I mean, it looks nice. It kind of has a simple you can have fun brainlessly going through floors of a dungeon. Similarly, kind of just monotonous same dungeons.
Is that all it is dungeon crawling?
I mean, there's forests that you can go through, so it's you basically have to kill 4 guys in this map, or find 4 artifacts, or kill 3 goblins or spiders or whatever to complete a level, and you get a chest.
I guess for some reason I always envisioned you actually going through the Skyrim world in the game.
Not really. You have a town where you have to build stuff. So when you go on your daily missions, and there's a main quest where you can go on missions that are a little more in depth, but then you get supplies and monies and equipment. And you can use that money to, build an armory or build a blacksmith or a potion shop and town, houses for the town people.
Neat.
Yeah, it is kind of neat. It's just, of course, because it's a free-to-play game, I'm having an issue with the way they kind of monetize it. So it's just like chess, kind of like in a Clash Royale game. But the problem I have is, so there's there's four or so different types of chests, but the 3 that you'll mostly see are wooden, silver, and gold. Gold are 6 hours, which is fine, but the other 2 are wooden, which is 5 seconds, which is just annoying because you'll get a dozen of these, and instead of just being all right, this is basically no time, I can just tap it all, you have to sit there and go, all right, click, 5 seconds, and then, so it's you have to do this for 3 minutes, which doesn't sound that bad, but it's just unnecessary and tedious. And then the silver ones are 1 hour.
Even for a phone game, that sounds very unnecessary.
It's unnecessary.
Wait, so you can't play? That's the
amount of play, but you can to get the contents in the chest.
You have to play for that long.
You have to open up the chest one at a time.
No, so it's not that you have to play for that long. You click the chest and just sit there and watch it
for 5 seconds.
But to get the chest or to obtain it for playing X amount of hours?
You get the chest, either you'll find them randomly on the map, or you'll get chests at the end of completing a mission, which is basically a map.
Okay.
Which will be kill 4 goblins.
Clash Royale had the same thing, except they didn't have a chest that was 5 seconds. It was 3 hours, 6 hours, or 12 hours.
Yeah, so I haven't been playing it that long.
5 seconds is just useless. Why sit there and wait for 5 seconds for a chest to open?
I believe the time was different before. It might have been 3 minutes or something that was at least made a little bit more sense, and people got mad at that. And so I'm not sure what the times were originally, but I still don't like them as they are now. It should just be instant.
Yeah.
And then the next one is silver, which is 1 hour, which is also obnoxious because these games want you to keep checking back in, which I understand. And Clash Royale does it where it's 3 hours, which is still almost too much to have to check into a game. But for them to expect you to check in every hour is all right, you're trying to...
It's a little egregious.
Yeah, you're trying to get people addicted to this game, checking it nonstop when they're hanging out with people. You can't
It's just more
take a break.
This is what Bethesda is turning into.
Yeah, so
Speaking of Bethesda, tell us about the other Bethesda game you've been playing this week.
Yes, so Amazon had the sweet deal where if you're a Prime customer, you can basically get one of 4 games for free. One of them was, the only one I didn't have was Fallout, so you pay $15 and they give you a $15 credit for next time. So I was all right, I'll just try this because I've never tried it. I have the other 3 games, what the hell. So I got it, and I was playing it for a little while, and it's hard for me to really judge this game because I never really, I played Fallout 4 was the only other one I played, and I didn't really get it. I didn't pull me in like it pulled in other people. I just kind of thought it was, I mean, this is heresy. I thought it was kind of slow and monotonous, and then I would just run into guys that were way too high level, and I would
wasn't for you.
It wasn't for me, yeah. And I kind of felt the same way. Like I was like, all right, I can understand. I kind of didn't get why people hated it so much, because I was like, all right, this just looks exactly like the other Fallout game. It's not something I'm into, but like there's missions and there's base building and there's like a bunch of people around, so it seems fine. Like there was stuff you could do. Maybe it had gotten better since the launch.
Well, they didn't add the NPC. Did they add NPCs yet to the game?
I believe
that's a recent thing.
Yeah.
I believe they have. I didn't play. I only played for a couple hours. I was mostly taking missions from like a terminal and like, build. It was somewhat tutorial stuff like, build this weapon.
I am going to do the Amazon $15 game thing, and that is the one I'm probably going to get, because I shop on Amazon all the time, so technically...
What's this free deal?
If you have Amazon Prime.
Which my wife does, yeah.
You have like a day or two left, so I would get on it.
There's 4 games available. If you buy one of them, each one of them is $15. But if you buy one of them, you get an Amazon $15 credit in return. So if you shop on Amazon a lot, it's basically free because you're going to be buying something on Amazon eventually anyways.
So it's that game, Sims 4, Starlink, and then the last one. I forgot the last one.
Yeah, I forget.
No, it's a really good one.
And what system can you get it for? Anything? I feel like the Switch Starlink wouldn't work.
Starlink is for the Switch.
The Last of Us was the last one for PS4.
The Last of Us and Fallout 4 were for PS4, and The Sims was for PC.
And Starlink was for what system?
Switch.
Which is actually the cool one, because that has...
That's the one you have, right?
No, I have the one for PlayStation.
And it's a physical, or is it just a digital?
I believe it's physical, yeah.
For Starlinks, it has to be, because it comes with the...
Well, you can get a digital version that really ignores that stuff.
Oh, I'll have to tell Amy to do this. Okay.
Was Fallout physical or digital? Nothing.
I see Fallout 70. Oh.
76.
I'm pretty sure they were all physical versions.
Cool. No, the Sims was digital.
Oh, was it? Okay.
All right.
I'm just lying all over the place to everyone.
Yeah, you kind of are.
Well, there's 4 games you can get. If you listen to this immediately, you should check it out.
Is there anything else you've been playing this week?
I have. There's
playing something new this to just a few hours ago.
Yes. So I'm dipping back into PlayStation 1 era, and I've been playing
X-Files?
Not the X-Files.
Parasite Eve?
Yes, that's Parasite
that was a random guess.
Really?
That was a random guess.
Was it Aliens starring Sigourney Weaver?
That was actually just one of my favorite songs from the game, and we're going to discuss it.
I am interested because I've heard so many things about Parasite Eve, but I own one of them. I don't know if it's Parasite Eve 1 or 2 for PlayStation 1.
Do you know what I've heard about Parasite Eve? If the door is closed and you hear Matt playing it, it sounds like someone's turning off and on a faucet over and over and over again.
Well, that's just because there was one room I was in where there was not even a puzzle, but there was spraying acid, and if you quickly go in between the acid sprays, you can get like an item.
Every 5 seconds.
And I was lost in that room. So
it's a little bit better than hearing, "Welcome to the circus of values," every 5 seconds. So
that was my college life. My roommate was playing
I remember
BioShock, but it was just loud enough for me to only hear 2 things.
That was right at the point too where I thought those games were kind of lame, like those like weird games. I was like, "Oh, that's lame. Play like Call of Duty," and it is, but that's before I kind of branched out to, kind of Final Fantasy, and I was always like, let's play realistic games like Call of Duty, or like even Assassin's Creed was like kind of out there a little bit. But that's when I started realizing, like, screw it, these games are so much better. They don't have any rules.
That's sort of around the time you started becoming a game collector?
When I worked at GameStop.
Oh, okay.
That's really when I was
back to Parasite Eve.
Yes. Keep going because I'm interested in this. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a really fun game. Like it's kind of like a tragedy that it's even hard to play. Like you can play it on PlayStation 1, which I was playing it on. I have a PS2 that's backwards compatible, and I have the PS1 version. And then I think it's a PS3 Classic. So if you have a PS3, you can buy it there, but that's really the only place you can get it. It's a SquareSoft game that came out in the late 90s. I think it was like 97 or 98. It's like a action role-playing game, so it's, there's a little bar that goes up, and you can avoid. You're basically running around trying to avoid attacks, and then you shoot when your bar is all the way full. Or you can use different spells or healing or things like that, which is fun. So it's got this really interesting story about like mitochondria. You start it's like set in 6 days, and you start you're just like a 26-year-old cop, female cop, going to an opera, and then like So you're listening to this opera singer, and then everyone around you just like bursts into flames, and you have to figure out basically like what's going on. This is all set in Manhattan.
That's an alarming way to start a video game.
Yeah, it is pretty intense. So it's like it starts off just crazy, and it just gets more and more intense from there. Like they'll call in like Harrier jets, and then those guys will like their heads explode and stuff. So like everyone else is dying kind of around you except for you. So you have to kind of figure out, why aren't I being affected like everyone else, and how do I stop this from happening? And I played a small clip of the music. It has like really good atmospheric music that obviously you would kind of expect from a SquareSoft role-playing game. But I'm having a blast with it. I actually went and I bought online Parasite Eve 2, which I've played before, which is also, from my memory, pretty good, but not as good as the first one. So I'm going to try that after. And they also have a PSP game called like Parasite Eve Third Birthday that I guess is supposed to be bad. But I bought that too just to give it a shot and see what it's like.
Do you have a PSP?
I do, and I don't know if it works. I hope it does.
Well, if it doesn't work, I have an extra one you can borrow.
Nice. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, I already got rid of mine.
So it's actually I'm pretty far. I only started it I think yesterday, and I'm pretty far into it. It's set in 6 days. I'm on day 4. I think it's only like a 10 or 12 hour game or something, so it's not like a full length 40 hour RPG. But yeah, I'm having a great time with it. I would recommend it to anyone that can somehow get a hold of that game on the PS1, or if you have the PS3.
Is it on the Classic?
The PS3 you can buy.
No, like the PlayStation Mini.
Oh, sorry. That's another frustrating thing. So if you're Japanese, yes, it's on the Japanese version of the PlayStation Classic, but when they brought it to North America, they like changed up the lineup a little bit, and they took Parasite Eve off, which is super frustrating.
You're Japanese. Do you have Parasite Eve?
Okay, maybe I should reword that. If you live in Japan, yes, you can get the PlayStation Classic with the...
It went down to
sure you could probably hack it too.
And I still couldn't pull the trigger.
I have one. I would say for $20 it's worth it. Like half the games are good.
I do want to play Intelligent Cube.
Intelligent Cube is a great game.
I literally bought it as a $20 Metal Gear Solid / Final Fantasy VII holder. So because I want to beat Metal Gear Solid 1 on the PlayStation 1.
Have you ever beaten it on the PlayStation 1?
No.
Oh.
It's too clunky. It's really clunky. So at least with that one, I can keep saving it. Like, I know I could beat it. It's just, it's so frustratingly...
I just want it for the, 2 or 3 games that I don't.
Yeah, but at that point, if you think about it, you're paying $7 for each one.
Intelligent Cube alone is worth $60 or something like that.
Yeah, it's been $60 on eBay forever. I don't know if it's still that price, but...
Well, maybe not anymore because people can get it on the...
You'd be surprised. Yeah. Sometimes that brings out people wanting to own the original when they like, oh, this is neat.
All right, Dan. So, what have you been playing?
All right. So, just like Andy was saying, we made a gentleman's wager, and I plopped in The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
I'm surprised you haven't played that before.
I played it, but it kept going to the wayside, and I think I always kept getting frustrated about that stupid first town thing.
Yes, I was gonna say, did you get annoyed at the stupid prison? Because like I tried to play that like a dozen
I actually like the prison because I kind of
and I just
it was very like
okay,
snake.
Go back to the
it was a very like solid snaky kind of vibe, and except I was frustrated. Well,
maybe I just don't have the patience for it.
Where I kept thinking like I kept putting the barrel like underneath the ladder, thinking I could like jump onto the barrel and then jump up the ladder. But then I realized they don't want that. They want you to push the blocks down.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, going back to when I first started it, I hate how the first towns are in Zelda games. They're such
Wind Waker honestly isn't.
It was quick. It was pretty quick, but I was just like I was in a mood where I quickly was losing like interest, and I was like, like I don't feel like. Because I just feared everything from the other Zeldas. Like, this is going to take forever. Nope, pretty quick. They gave you the sword, they give you the shield, and then they're like, hey, look, there's some random pirate lady that gets, dropped by a giant bird. And then she's kind of an asshole.
Your
and then
sister gets swallowed by the bird.
Well, she originally gets dropped by the bird onto the town. And then the bird comes back to grab what thinks is her, but it's your sister. Yeah. So then, hence, you were like, oh, I'm gonna this. So finally, when you get in the ship and then they take you to the first puzzle, I was like, oh my god, even this first level is better than every or any level from Breath of the Wild. I was like, this is what a Zelda game needs to be about. All platforming.
What do you mean any level from Breath of the Wild?
All the Breath of the Wild levels were
the bottom of the ship where you're simply
No, the when you go to the island trying to find
Oh,
that
the
bird,
prison. Well,
even
'cause-
that level was better than everything from Breath of the Wild.
So-
Like all these puzzles, I was like, "This is a Zelda game."
You don't like Breath of the Wild?
No, I like
this is
it.
big news.
No, I like Breath of the Wild. I just think
So Breath of the Wild, for all of the credit that I give it, the one thing I can safely say it's missing is
Dungeons?
the shrines.
the dungeons.
The shrines are not unique enough, and the dungeons are not unique enough. They're missing that kind of Zelda flair from the other games, and this game especially had a lot of. I don't want to go too on about Wind Waker because I could sit here and talk about it for an hour and a half, but Wind Waker, it was very different in the fact that it had a lot more emotion and
It's
characters.
very animated, very like he's very
game.
goofy. Like I love when what do they call it, sidling? Like when
Yeah.
he leans against the wall and he turns and you see his face making like a really like secret agent kind of face. So that was kind of goofy.
So Breath of the Wild is just a much different Zelda game. It lost a lot of the uniqueness in the design that I think.
Well,
Wind
only in the
Waker
dungeon part. That's it. The world is gorgeous. The little puzzles are awesome, but
Yeah.
it just
But they all look the same.
They all
the
look-
shrines,
they all look the same.
120 shrines look exactly.
and I understand that they were trying to go for you can go to any one you want, and you know that was great, but that first so after you beat this first thing, then they really sink you into the first real dungeon, and immediately I was sucked into the soundtrack. That was the like wait, don't tell me it was it's a playoff of the N64 Ocarina of Time one, but it was one of they kind of changed it just a little bit. The background music
In where?
in the Dragon Roost,
Dragon Roost Island?
yeah, it was almost like the Fire Temple, or
No, it's its own beat.
no, it's not. It is linked to the one of the N64 Ocarina of it's like a playoff of it because I knew it right away. I was like, oh, this is one of those. This is like the bottom of the well music, and it's just changed. I swear to God, I'm one.
If you can find a comparison video and prove it to me, yeah. But Dragon Roost Island is more or less its own.
No, not the island. When you actually go into the actual like dungeon part.
Oh, I don't know what that.
Okay, no. I meant the
I thought you meant
dungeon. No, I meant the.
the actual like.
Oh, okay. No, I'm thinking the actual dungeon, like when you're in the dungeon.
But you're enjoying the game.
It was a lot of it is so clever. Just the little puzzles, like it's always always like light the lanterns, or one of them there was one lantern lit and another one wasn't, and I was like, where's the stick? I can't light anything. What the hell? And then I saw something about, hey, deflect the weapon off the enemy, and then he'll drop it, and it's like, oh, it's a stick. I'll beat him with it, and then I went over and lit it up, and I was like, oh, that's really neat. And then, like, one of the most coolest, and I feel like way above its time or ahead of its time, is this grapple you get right away, and the grapple is like really smooth, like being able to grapple and jump. It felt like you were playing like one of the new Uncharted games. Of course, one of them kind of screwed me over because there's this one part where you grapple and you lean forward. You have to switch. You switch directions because it has you go this way, but you have to make it go this way. But it cuts you off.
A reminder to Dan that this is not a video podcast. So you can actually
Sorry,
see
I'm
it.
very visual. Well, I'm trying to
Moving your hands.
visually show you what I'm talking
I
about.
see it. I see everything.
But I
you
kept
do.
screwing me. I died like 3-4
So
times.
you're gonna keep playing it?
Yes. But I have to admit also that I was embarrassed that I could not figure out the timing of the music thing for about 10 minutes.
It's different than most of it. It's not just pressing a button. You have to like move the joystick to the certain
well, it was.
Puzzle that uses the background music or something?
No, you get the wind wand. You have to
Oh,
do the
yes,
music.
okay.
But on
Yeah.
top of
There's
timing it
that.
right, you have to, and I didn't understand what it meant because it was showing 4 notes, and I was like, all right, I'll just play those 4 notes. But it was like, no, you have to line up the, or you have
So
to.
if you move the joystick in a certain direction, it opens up either the 6-note, the 4-note, or the 3-note
Yeah.
songs, and then you have to use the C stick, I believe, to do the
Yes,
certain
the actual
song that it's asking you to
and
do.
time it.
Although you're playing it on the Wii U, so I don't know what it is for that.
No, it just has the C stick, the second C stick.
second stick,
yeah. But for the life of me, I just thought like 1, 2, 3, and then play the 4th note, and then the boat kept yelling at me. I'm sorry, what I mean the boat is actually that you drive around in is alive.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. And he was like yelling at me like, "Do you not understand like timing?" And I'm like, "Ugh!" Like I was really embarrassed. And then I figured it
by the
out.
boat.
Yeah, pretty much. I just
What else
got
you been
like.
playing?
So then I picked up Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3,
Hey, that came out
which
Friday, right?
is
We'll
an
be getting that this weekend,
absolutely fantastic Nintendo Switch game. Like,
Nice.
it is absolutely fantastic. The voice character,
Still surprised that it's a Nintendo exclusive.
it's
it
it's
timed?
great. It's timed. It's a timed exclusive, but
okay.
there's no reason to get it for any other system. It is perfect for the Switch. They pulled so many great voice actors. Like the actual Spider-Man voice actor from the PlayStation 4 actually voices the Spider-Man in the game.
What's the roster like? Do they start you with a certain character? Or you can just pick from like 20 or what?
So they initially start you out as the Guardians of the Galaxy. And I was a little disappointed that Groot and Rocket Raccoon are one character. You can't play as
They like switch off with a button.
well, like certain attacks are Rocket on the shoulder, and then
is
the other
it
one's a Groot.
Like the same Guardians of the Galaxy group from the movies, or do they have like
Everything is very, from at least what I've seen, is very close to the movie. It's trying to.
the Guardians in the comics have been kind of like the X-Men, kind of an always shifting team.
No, this one was goofy. Like, what's his name? Chris Pratt's, what is his name?
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord, there we go. Sorry, I'm not the.
Lord
I
Star-Lord.
don't know a lot of Marvel names and stuff, but he's very cocky and he wants to be the head of the group. And Gamora's very, she's very quiet in this one, but she's very like level-headed. Like,
So what's the gameplay like?
it's a dungeon crawler. It's just like Diablo 3, just what I thought it would be. But it's great because it feels like every 15 minutes you're fighting like a super enemy. You're fighting Mysterio. You're fighting
What's your
Juggernaut.
motivation? Do you get sweet loot?
I wouldn't say you get sweet loot. It's more like
Like, can you equip like different like arm
yeah.
pads or like
you get.
weapons and
There's other skins you can do. There's different time trials you can do, like kill like 50 enemies.
What's the motivation to keep playing though?
Well, the unlocking. It's like Super Smash Brothers. Like the game in
Getting
general.
all the characters.
It's just like every 10 minutes there's
Are there
a new
like
character.
skill trees for that?
Yeah, there's
Or-
on top of that, like all characters don't level up the same way. So if you play like my team right now is Wolverine, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and I keep switching off between Captain America and Iron Man. On top of that, there's also different buffs, buffs? That's the word I'm looking for. Different buffs depending on how if you play with all Avengers people, they'll give you a bonus. If you play with they call them like web spinners, so like anybody that has from the Spider-Man realm will give you a different kind of bonus, like an agility bonus.
I'm sorry, the Spider-Man realm, the Spider-Verse.
Fine. So like
said they-
Spider-Gwen or Miles Morales or Venom
You said
or
they level up differently. Do you mean like? I mean, they also used to.
so they all don't level up. Like if you don't play for like an hour with
Okay.
Miles Morales.
They're each individually leveling up.
Exactly. And on top of that, like you start to unlock different abilities at like level 11, you'll unlock your second one, but you can also, if you really like the first ability, you can keep putting points into that one. So it gives you a lot of choice on like how you want to level up your character or who you want to put the points into. Plus, every time you finish off like a big enemy, they give you like XP cubes, small, medium, large, XL, and so they'll give you a huge boost. Like, and I love playing as Wolverine, so I put like all of them into Wolverine so I could get his like boosts really fast.
Is this is like a multiplayer game, right? You can play with people.
Couch co-op, multiplayer online.
Is that
It's just like
4-player?
Diablo 3.
Yeah, it's essentially like Diablo 3. It's just it's more linear, whereas Diablo 3 it was, they open a map
Yeah.
a little bit, and in the
Do you
end
have like a hub world that you go to between the dungeoning?
you can keep every I'd say about like 10 or 15 minutes there's the
Avengers Tower, or the
no,
ship?
it's who's the oh my god, what is his name? Samuel L. Jackson character. Did I stump
Fury.
you? There you go.
Yes.
His team, what's that symbol?
Shield.
Yeah, so the shield. Again, I really don't know.
Slowly walking him through the Avengers
Yeah.
universe.
So there's a shield symbol on the ground, and it basically allows you to screw around with your team. Like, you can.
Colby Smulders
Oh,
there.
cool. Like switch them up and stuff.
She's the actress who. Never mind.
Yes.
Why did you
Then yes.
cut? He didn't
The-
even know
the-
who Nick Fury was.
I don't know.
I was gonna say you're going really deep into this, but
Ask your girlfriend or ask your wife who Colby Smulders is, and she'll tell you.
So she's the right hand man to him, right?
She's from She's the actress from How I Met Your Mother.
Okay, no, she's not into what her character is.
Maria Hill.
Yes.
So when you're playing one player, is it just you're controlling one guy, or is there 3 computers with you, or is it just
it is the 3 AI people that come with you, but they're pretty competent.
And will they level up your characters basically if you're using them?
They will auto level up, but
Nice.
but yeah, you basically set up how you want to level them up though. So they'll just get the level up, and then you set up like, oh, I want to put points into this skill, or
This isn't an RE5 situation where they're using heals that they don't need and stuff like that, is it?
no. Nope. And on top of that, if one guy's not doing as well as you like, you just quickly it's a button press. So there's the up, down, left, right.
The
left-
D-pad.
Well, there's 2 D-pads. I wanted to say the left-hand D-pad. So the left-hand D-pad, up, down, left, right, changes depending on what character is in each slot. So there's 4 slots, up, down, left,
There's
right.
only one D-pad on the Switch.
Well, they're essentially both. This each Joy-Con has
He's shaking his head. No, he disagrees.
each Joy-Con has like 4 buttons essentially that you can use to maneuver.
Yeah.
So how many characters are there? Because I get a little annoyed.
30.
Okay, so my one concern would be
30
that,
playable. Then there's other characters that are not like the Samuel Jackson. Oh my God, why
There's
am I
only 30
blanking out?
characters you can choose.
30 characters that you play as. There's others that are in it, like Winter Soldier
Yeah.
is in it, but he's only a non-playable.
So how many do you start out with?
You start out as Guardians of the Galaxy. You do one quick mission, and then it
Does it
links
just slowly introduce character after character, like as you do the missions?
Yeah, not super slowly though, because like immediately right after I finished the Guardians of the Galaxy, Hulk was available. A lot of the Avengers, Iron Man was available, Captain America was available, and then also the people from Guardians of the Galaxy. So you could immediately choose. I want Gamora, I want Iron Man, I want Captain America right away. That was your group. But it's always giving you incentives to change, like I said, the group up, because, like I said, if you play as all Avengers people, you're going to get a boost
You
in
get the
strength.
boost.
Yeah, and on top of that, just the voice acting is fantastic. They must have got either all the real characters, voice actors,
Oh, I highly doubt it.
or close to it.
I
I'm
don't
saying.
think Capcom has the budget.
well, my concern would be if when I play games like that, like when I play Pokemon, I'll start out with Squirtle, and I'll just use Squirtle the entire game, and he'll be like super powerful, and he'll be able to kill everything in one hit. But I'll have no incentive to play the other characters because they'll be at level 2, and it'll take way too long to level 6 characters at that time. So if I was playing this game, I feel like I would just play the same 4 characters and just have them super strong, and I wouldn't want to spread that experience or play 10 times as long.
But yeah,
to play
are
with
the
30
characters
guys.
on the bench getting any experience?
Is there any way to mitigate that, or is it like do you feel like pressured to use the same guys, or do you feel pressured to mix it up so that you do get more experience?
I mean, it really depends on the enemy. Like, I noticed a lot of enemies were a pain in the ass. Like, they got in your face, so I wanted a ranged character. So I switched to
Hawkeye?
No. He's available. But I switched to Captain America because I knew I could use his heavy attack, which he throws the shield like across the room.
But then isn't your Captain America like 6 levels behind because you haven't been using him as much?
He is, but that's where you're constantly getting those XP cubes. Like, they're given to you all the time. They give you like XP boosts. So at one point, like I said, I made
They're
Wolverine.
just cubes sitting around?
Pretty much. But also if there's like certain puzzles, if you unlock them correctly, they'll give you like a really nice like I said, there's the small, medium, heavy, super X cube. So at one point I noticed I really liked the squad that I was working with. So I put like it all on Wolverine, but I know like down the road when I get Deadpool, I'm trying to think of that Black Panther I want to be like in the squad. So I'm going to keep, there's so many characters that I really love that switching between them is almost like just a necessity for me because it's just fun also to hear the banter between them.
Do they have different like voice lines between each other depending on what squad
so
you
I
have?
thought that was really neat too. Like I had Hulk in my group and he started talking to like he was making fun of like Mysterio or something. So he was taunting him and it wasn't like just somebody on your bench just yelling at them as if they're like in the fight. It was whoever's in the fight. So like Miles Morales was like, whoa, like he was being goofy.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance, the one time I played it, my friend and I played it was 1 or 2, I can't remember. We played it just for an entire day. That was my only experience with the game, but that was actually my introduction to Deadpool was that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But
I had no idea the character existed before it.
no, I have a funny feeling who's going to voice Deadpool, and it's going to be probably the same guy from the actual Deadpool game, Nolan North. That's my guess, because he typically plays like the goofy character. He's the voice actor for Nathan Drake, Uncharted.
Okay.
You've definitely heard him. Him and Troy Baker are like the overused characters or voice actors.
60% out of voice characters in video games now.
So they always.
I know Troy Baker.
Yeah,
Definitely.
You've definitely heard.
Well, my girlfriend she didn't ruin the Spider-Man PS4 game because I was already done with it, but after she's playing it right now, and I guess the voice actor of Spider-Man is the voice of Sasuke from Naruto, a very popular anime that I used to watch quite a lot. So had I known that, the voice would have been ruined for me because all I would have heard was that character from that anime.
Oh yeah, that can do it.
Anything else you're playing right now?
And then it seems like I'm really diving into the deep part of A Plague Tale: Innocence. It's
being delivered for me tomorrow.
It is. Nice. It is intense. Andy, again, you will love it. It is all puzzles. And it's very similar to I don't know if I mentioned it before, but very similar to like Gears of War at the end, or not the end, where you had to be careful at night of those bats. Like if you go into a dark area.
I didn't like Gears of War. I didn't get too into it.
It's not like the gameplay of it. It's the what's it called? The mechanic where if you were in a dark area, the bats would swarm down and kill you instantly. Same thing with the rats. If you go in an area and you're in like a dark area for a second, the rats will come over and eat you immediately. And like I said, the way they make you think about how you're going to approach things, like you'll see a guard with like a torch, and at one point you unlock an ability to extinguish the torch. So he'll be walking, he'll be cocky, like, oh, get away, rats, and you'll all of a sudden knock out his flame, and you just see him get eaten alive.
Ooh.
It's neat. You don't have to kill him that way. You can kill him a bunch of different ways depending on how you want to allocate your resources.
Very excited to play.
It'll be right up your alley, Andy. Yeah. It could be potentially your game of the year.
What? Ooh, whoa! Did it come out this year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we have a lot of games that still have yet to come out this year.
Yes, and it is up there for game of the year.
I guess maybe next few episodes somewhere, maybe for one of our discussion topics.
Oh, game of the year halfway through?
Yeah, kind of the game of the year watch for the year so far.
This would be on there.
Yeah, I haven't even really thought about that yet, but so don't say too much about that.
No, I don't want to spoil it for you because, like I said, I feel like this game
playing it too, Matt.
Yeah, it's on my list of games,
right up your alley.
We can do like a kind of a team review of it.
So it'll also be interesting to see what your thoughts
anything
on
else
it.
you've been picking at.
And then I just keep going back to Assassin's Creed, just trying to knock out a lot of the little
Christ.
crap. Well, it's like I said, it's kind of fun. Like I like those games that give you that sweet loot. Like I want to work together and I want to get.
I feel like you could write the damn book on the game by now.
I know. I just checked my time on the game. It's 45 hours. I was like, Jesus Christ! And this is the second 40-hour situation because, like I said, I played as the other character. Didn't like him after a while. This one I'm still trying to like chuck along through, but
you'll get there.
I will.
So you guys ready for the surprise?
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous. He's got a table over here with a shirt covering something. So we're very afraid for our lives.
And Andy's gone insane.
By we mean Matt and I are terrified?
On a project.
What we're going to be doing is video game
Jeopardy.
Jeopardy!
Oh, all right. I'll give him that. That he has. This is impressive.
It's video game Jeopardy.
So let me describe this to you. It is basically a Jeopardy board made out of little index cards.
I put a lot. They're not index
There's
cards.
4 columns.
I cut up pieces of paper. There's 4 categories. All right.
How is Metal Gear an entire category?
Because
how is it not? Come on.
Because
but the other ones are like Nintendo, console gems, and game of the year.
I thought of things that you two both know about. Metal Gear is one of those things that both of you and Dan know about. I don't really know much of anything about the Metal Gear universe. It's still a universe that I do want to eventually play and get into. Just to go over the 4 categories here, we have also this was hard and I did it in an hour, so shut up.
Okay. I know. I'm impressed. I'm excited. All right, go ahead.
Dan's impressed, Matt.
I'm impressed.
I'm just going to get... I'm worried because Dan knows a lot about video games and my memory is piss poor.
Yeah, but I'm having a very off day. I can't think of that guy with the eye patch over his head.
True.
Samuel L. Jackson.
The actual name of his character.
No, we have 4 categories. The 4 categories are Nintendo, Metal Gear, console gens, and game of the year.
Console gens or gems?
N.
Okay.
The letter N.
Console
Like generation.
Oh, see, I actually thought he said gems too. All right, thank you for clarifying.
So, normal Jeopardy rules, the answer has to be in the form of a question.
I'm going to Ken Jennings you.
I don't
Jeopardy
know what that
reference.
means.
He's very good at Jeopardy.
Okay. You're going to do that to Dan.
Yes.
I already know all the
I'm gonna
answers.
Mark Cerny you. That doesn't even make sense. I know.
Jesus Christ.
Carney.
Oh my God. You should lose points for that.
All right, so there's there's the 4 categories and there's 4 questions in each worth between 100 and 400 points. There's no real money, so I didn't make it dollars.
Okay.
I want a card at the end that says how many points I've achieved.
Fine.
I don't know what my strongest category would be.
I want to say Metal Gear, but Game of the Year would probably be my alternate. All right, so
I'm an
who goes
expert at
first?
all 4 categories because I came up with the damn thing.
Do we have
All right.
a buzzer? I want a buzzer.
So that's what the snapping was for.
Oh, that makes sense.
Clap.
We could
Okay.
slap the table.
Well, I needed something that both of you could do, and I could figure out who did it first. And I just feel like snapping because I don't know. I don't want everybody to keep clapping.
I know this is going to be awful. on
Either
the
that,
mics.
or you guys could go ding.
Oh my God, never.
So do you want to just do the snapping?
I kind of like dinging. You don't want to ding?
We should. No.
We don't have time.
I know.
You could download the air
It's a
horn
ding
app.
or a snap.
You could each download the air horn app. I use it. It's fun.
My phone's at. Yeah, we're not doing that every 3 seconds. My phone's at like 12%. So anything that involves.
Okay, we're just going to do the snaps. It's fine. And then if there's a tiebreaker, obviously wait until I'm done with the question and only snap if you know the answer.
Can I ding?
If you ding, Matt has to also ding. Matt, are you going to ding?
Probably not.
Oh, God. So I'm going to have one of you snapping and one of you dinging.
Yes, I kind of.
Oh my God, that's not a noise we want to use.
All right.
I was looking at beep noises.
His phone's dying. It doesn't matter. All right, we're getting going with this. No more.
I'd like to ding.
No more. What are you going to do?
He's looking at Matt. Ding.
I'm gonna say a word. Me.
He could me.
Done.
I could ding. The S is-
I need you to both say the same thing. I need you to come up with it right now.
All right, I'm voting ding.
Ding. Okay, I'm gonna say ding.
Okay.
Not enthusiastic about that particular part.
Well, you have to be enthusiastic if you want to beat Dan.
If you
do-
want to
do
Mark
like
Cerny
beating
me.
Dan, right?
I do.
So, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10.
Ding.
What is it? No, you're not dinging. Just
Oh,
guess.
4.
5.
Matt is closest. He goes first.
Crushed it.
Biased.
Crushed it.
Biased.
Okay. Pick a category and a point value.
Game of the year 100.
Oh God, Andy's actually got this all lined up.
The Game of the Year ones, I used the Electronic Gaming Monthly Game of the Year list to come up with these questions.
Still waiting.
Okay. This Game of the Year launched alongside a console and sold more units than the
Ding.
console.
Ah, I know the answer.
Breath of the Wild.
Dan, a reminder, you must wait until I'm finished the question to ding.
Finish the question. Did you finish?
You look like you were right at the end
Ding.
of the question.
No, I'm going to give it to him, but... And the answer is...
Breath of the Wild.
That's the wrong one. Can I do console gens for 100?
The answer is Breath of the Wild.
What's Batwa? I'm kidding. Go ahead.
All right, Dan, you get to pick the next category.
All right, we'll go for Metal Gear for 300.
Are you keeping score?
300?
Yeah.
Why are you going?
I want to see how crazy the 300 is, and then see. I only have 100 points right now.
Okay, for 300 points, I am the boss who fights Snake on the 30th floor in Metal Gear 2.
Ding. Who is
No, time.
So,
You get 3 seconds.
what? Who is Solidus Snake?
That's also not the answer.
The 30th floor? Is that the question? Can I get a repeat of the question?
Well, you should have been listening, but...
You said Metal Gear Solid 2?
Yeah, on the 30th floor?
Yes.
I feel like it's on a boat and then, okay.
It's on a boat, then it's on that tanker. There's no 30th
bomb
floor. I think you
guy?
get the
Yeah.
wrong thing.
It said, in the thing I looked up, it said Metal Gear 2.
Oh, Metal Gear 2?
Metal Gear 2.
Is there a difference?
Well, yeah, Metal Gear 2 is for the NES. Metal Gear Solid 2 is for the PlayStation
I didn't
2.
know there was a Metal Gear 2 for the NES.
Oh, all right. Then I'm sorry. It's all right. Go ahead. Can I?
I mean, I don't. We're not going to get it.
Oh, I know who it is now.
All right, Dan. What's the answer?
Big Boss.
No.
What? Who is it?
The Red Blasters?
Who are the Red Blasters?
Oh, okay. He's okay. All right.
You lose points in Jeopardy. That's negative 200 for him.
Yeah, it is.
No, negative 300. Well, his total is negative 200. Just to keep score, Matt has 0, and
Metal
Dan has
Gear
negative
2.
200. I didn't know there was a difference.
You're winning with nothing, Matt.
He should have known because the 30th floor thing was an impossible. It didn't make sense.
Well, I was thinking 30th floor. I was like, what?
Matt, you get to pick the category because Dan got the question wrong.
I butchered it horrifically.
Game of the Year 200.
You're gonna have to,
Daily double. No, I didn't do a daily double.
you're gonna have to come up with a new
you
one
gonna
for
rip off the
100.
answer?
No.
Considering we know that.
You know the do both of you know the answer to this one?
Yes.
Oh.
You'll have to come up with something off the top of your head.
Okay.
But he didn't choose that one yet, so maybe that'll be a daily double.
This is my first time doing this. What is it? Game of the Year for 200? The proper way to play. This Game of the Year is the first game in its franchise to have 3 main protagonists.
Ding.
That was Matt. Dan.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yes.
Or what is Grand Theft Auto 5? Sorry.
Yes.
I
please
also
use
knew
in
the
form of
answer.
the question.
Sorry.
That's why you got to ding fast, Matt.
I'm not. You're just, right. Can you just tell the audience I'm dumb and we can move on to the next segment?
All right, I'm back in the
There is no
positive.
next segment.
Well, there is the main part of the show at the end.
That's a discussion topic.
That is true. I'm enjoying this. I'm tied now. I'm at 0, right?
All right, Dan, what's the next category?
All right, we're gonna go a little bit easier. We're gonna go Metal Gear Solid 2 for 200, please.
I designed and created the original Metal Gear.
Ding. Who is oh god,
Time.
damn it! I can't think of his name.
Matt's not
Passes
guessing.
to you.
It's Nintendo designed the original Metal Gear.
Oh, that's a dirty question.
How is it a dirty?
That is a dirty question. Because there is an actual character who designed and made the. You said who designed? Oh, that's such a dirty question. I want my points back. That is such a dirty question.
I guess I'll just let you answer everything and get them wrong.
Wow. Thanks, Matt. You're a jerk.
All right, Matt, you get to pick the
That's
category.
a dirty question.
Game of the Year 300.
I was gonna say I'm just gonna have
These
you
are
pick.
these are the ones you're getting the points on.
I know. You should pick Metal Gear.
This Game of the Year has a sequel that's been in production for supposedly 15 years.
Jesus.
This Game of the Year has a sequel that's been in production for supposedly 15 years.
And is still currently in production.
I want to say something, but I feel like it's going to be wrong.
Yeah, I have a guess.
Half-Life 2
Oh,
the answer.
wait, Half-Life 2?
Because Half-Life 3 has supposedly been in production for 15 years.
Oh, I didn't hear any confirmation about that.
Well, they've been kind of making it behind the scenes, but they just kind of gave up. It was
Do you
a
have
joke.
confirmation of that?
That's true.
I don't think that's true either.
I'm just Judge.
They were making it at one point, and it just never came out.
Maybe.
That's why I
What
said,
are they making?
That's why I said supposedly.
Oh,
in
he did say
production.
supposedly. He did say supposedly. All right, no one lost points on that one, though. What am I at? Negative 100?
I don't know.
Negative 200.
Negative 200. Okay, I'm at negative 200.
All right.
So nobody got it, so Matt
So
goes
Matt
again.
gets to choose again.
Game of the Year
Dan,
400.
you're at negative 200.
Let's clean up
Yes,
this
I know.
category.
Game of the Year for 400. This game and its sequel both made Game of the Year, and was the first time a popular Nintendo character went into space. Let me repeat the question since I
Ding.
screwed it up.
Super Mario Galaxy.
Can
And
you
Super
form it
Mario
in the phrase
Galaxy.
of a question?
What is Super Mario Galaxy?
That is correct.
That was a tough question. And now I'm down 600 points. Son of a bitch.
See, Matt, you only have to get the 400s.
That's right.
Wow, even the board is sick of this. No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm crushing it. I like this now that I'm winning.
Oh, now that you're winning.
All right, Matt, it's your choice again.
All right, Matt, come on. Give me some points here.
Console gems for 100.
Gens.
Gens.
For how much?
100.
I just didn't have space to write the questions on the board.
Gotcha.
This high-selling console saved the video game... Oh, wait.
What is the ding?
We already know the answer to 100.
What is NES?
Yeah, I was tearing that.
I want points.
Do you want to pick for 200?
Sure.
That was the one that fell off.
Well, no, why don't you make up a question? That was the one you're going to make up a question. 100 points, so it's not that
console
difficult.
was Sony's best-selling console.
Ding. What is the PlayStation 4?
Oh, ding. What is the PlayStation 2?
Oh, I thought I beat it. Damn it.
It's more points for me, right? Can I get a confirmation?
He and Dan got minus points.
Wait, what?
Dan got the question wrong.
Oh,
He
yeah,
said
yeah.
PS4.
I thought you said we both got minus points. I was like, what?
Now, Dan, do you want to do console gens for 200?
I would.
Oh, man. What am I at? Negative 300?
You're at -5. No, -300. Yeah, Matt's at 500.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm screwed. I know games.
All you have to do is get the 400s.
Yeah.
Or just not guess them when you say ding when you don't know the answer.
So for 200 points,
That's my strategy.
Thanks, Matt.
for 200 points, this short-lived console came to an end on March 31st, 2001.
Ding. The Sega Dreamcast.
That is correct.
Oh, damn it. Damn it.
That thing was pretty sweet. I never really had
Sorry, my initial dinging is very set back because I'm worried I'm going to get it
This
wrong.
is where the movie would flash back to Matt saying, "Can we just give the game to Dan because I'm going to suck and all this stuff?" Matt, pick the category.
It's console gens for 300.
We'll just call it console gems. at this point.
Doesn't make any sense, but
I'll take anal bum covers.
This is a toughie. This actually should have been the 400 question, to be honest.
Great.
This console was produced from 1991 to 1998 and featured 3 Zelda titles.
ding. What is the Game Boy?
That is incorrect.
Shit.
Yay!
Dan, do you have an answer?
I don't even think I want to risk it.
What is...
Can I do like a I don't get the points, but we'll guess?
Oh,
Sure.
Okay. Can I say the Super Nintendo?
It was the Philips CDI.
My God. Yeah,
It had those 3 really, really bad Zelda
Because I thought they made the Super Nintendo. They made obviously the famous one, A Link to the Past, and then they made like a fake one or something that was only available in Japan or something. And
That
then
was also just a Links to the Past.
it actually was.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually see like
Also,
copies
that
of it.
console was not produced between 1991 and 1998.
The Super Nintendo.
Yes, it was produced from 90 to 95 or something.
Yeah,
I
but
thought
that's within the window.
I thought the
This
Game Boy was like.
console was
Oh,
something
for
from
1991.
1991 to
Okay,
1998.
I thought you meant that was
I should
like.
have known better because I was thinking the Game Boy was like 89 or something.
That
But
was
I
my
like, what else
initial
could it
guess.
be?
That was my initial guess.
That's why it should have been the 400 question. That one was really hard. Matt, you lost points on that one. So, Nan, it's your turn to pick a category.
What is he at now?
I'm at 400.
I gotta be
now.
careful. I'll take Metal Gear for 100.
Metal Gear for
100.
100. I am the main character of Metal Gear Solid.
Ding! He didn't wait till the end.
That's true, Matt. You did not wait until the end of the question.
I got excited.
Dan,
That was Metal Gear Solid.
Solid.
Who is Solid Snake?
That is correct. Still not in the green yet.
Sorry, I gotta get my points somehow.
Dan, the category?
I will take Nintendo for 100.
I should have taken a picture of the board before and after, just to be like, hey, look.
Well, you can post it online.
Do you say I didn't
Nintendo for 100.
before I tore off the
Oh, we can put it back on.
for 100?
For 100.
I am an Italian plumber with a mustache and a green hat.
Ding.
That was Dan by like a slight margin.
Who is Mario?
Incorrect. Matt, would you like to steal?
Could I have the question again?
I am an Italian plumber with a mustache and a green hat.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Who is Luigi?
That is correct.
I'm so good at this game. Damn, sucks.
No, I'm just want to jump the gun. Damn it.
It's only.
Were you gonna say Mario?
Absolutely.
Damn it! Damn it! You should have given it to Matt first.
You dinged quicker, or he didn't wait for the question and you pointed it out.
No, we both knew.
Matt, the category.
What is the points? Hang on. I'm at negative what?
You're at negative 300. Matt is at 500.
Damn it.
Console gens for 400. Please.
Crap, I don't even want to answer this.
Well, the Philips CDI was the harder question.
Okay, all right.
400. This console, in quotes, is the highest selling Nintendo handheld of all time.
I'm terrified. I'm not saying a word.
Dang.
Dan.
Sorry, his reaction was what is
He doesn't know. He has no idea.
Game Boy Advance?
That is incorrect.
Damn it. I'm fucked.
You broke the machine. The number doesn't go down.
I heard a ding from him. It's up. He's
Matt,
got
your chance to steal.
I heard a ding from him.
What is the Nintendo DS?
Ooh.
Oh, it's one system. Damn it.
That's weird that system was so popular. It still doesn't make sense.
I mean,
that
the
there's,
dual
like,
screen, that's pretty awesome. Anyway,
necessary.
so I answered wrong. Does it technically give it to him?
Okay.
I'm screwed. I'd have to get
Nintendo
the rest.
for 200, please.
I created such characters such as Mario, Link, and Zelda.
Ding. Who is Shigeru Miyamoto?
Correct, and you got the whole name. I was worried one of you was just going to say
I was going to say Miyamoto. That's it.
Matt is now tied with Dan if Matt also had negative points.
Oof. What am I at, 800?
You're positive
900?
700, and he is at negative 700.
So I need. Can I get a daily double, please?
No, I didn't write any in. Matt, the category.
Nintendo for 300, please.
I am the original name of Nintendo's most popular character.
Ding. Who is Jumpman?
That is correct.
Yes. Damn it.
Did you know the answer and just didn't? Ding?
I did think it was
Mario
Jumpman.
from
Yeah.
Donkey Kong.
Yes.
Matt,
Nintendo for 400.
there is no way for Dan to win at this point.
There is. There's a secret bonus question on the back of it.
No, it's cool.
I wrote it down.
I did not do a final Jeopardy.
I hate you.
Also, you have no points to wager. You're in the negative.
You owe him points.
I have dollars.
You
I
actually
have real money.
You would have had more points if you didn't. If you went to the bathroom for this entire segment.
Thank you for the reminder.
This game is the highest selling Nintendo title of all time.
Ding. What is Mario?
No. What is Wii Sports?
Fuck that. Okay. No. All right. I want to.
I was gonna say the Mario and
Mario is selling. That was attached as a unit. I think we should fight this. No. I think we should fight this. I don't care if it's negative points at this
I was
point.
thinking Mario.
Yeah. So it should be selling because that was attached.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking Mario / Duck Hunt, which is packaged in the original, but I wasn't sure that's
Is that the one you were also thinking of, which
Yes.
was packaged in the system,
Yes, but it was also sold separately.
but nobody bought it separately?
Wii Sports was sold separately.
Yeah, but Wii Sports is not a game.
A majority of the Mario Duck Hunts.
I want another question.
No, I don't care.
That was bull. That was baloney.
They were the same thing. Both were sold with the console, and you were thinking of that too.
Metal Gear for 400.
not true.
The Wii is their most best-selling.
I am getting this friggin' answer.
This is the
I
last
will
question.
ding 700 times.
All right, so the final question is the Metal Gear category for 400. Just to go over the points again, Matt.
Now,
is
would
at-
you just go? Just
Matt is
answer
at
the. Yep, that's
1400,
yep.
Dan is at 700. Before being called back into action, Snake had what previous job title?
Repeat the question one more time.
Before being called back into action, Snake had what previous job title?
I know this.
This is gonna be some weird trick thing that I should know.
I don't know the exact title, but I'm pretty sure that he was. Oh, dang. He was like a trainer or like a combat trainer.
A dog musher.
oh yeah,
I knew it was
He
something
says
to do
that,
in
I think
Alaska.
He says that at the end.
Well, what's his name? It was when he was talking with.
And that's negative 400 points.
Thank you so much. I mean, at this point, there's no reason why not to friggin' go in.
And that concludes Video Game Jeopardy!
I had more fun once I started crushing.
If I had more
Damn.
time,
You didn't really crush. You more just didn't answer.
I like
and
you
then-
crush yourself.
Yeah, there you go.
Which worked out pretty fine.
I mean, I will admit, you knew like Jumpman, and I just also liked the ding.
also you didn't listen to me say green hat.
Okay, well, to be fair, he even said that he was going. If he dinged and got it first, he was going to say Mario. So
This will be a reoccurring segment.
Sweet.
When we are slow on news.
We should get a trophy, and like I should have it, and we can.
he wants his trophy.
Matthew is currently the reigning video game video game Jeopardy champion.
Well, you are the reigning chimpanzee.
That's all. You get the reigning champion. You can rub it in Dan's face every podcast if you'd like.
Sweet, done. Consider yourself rubbed.
Okay, moving on.
Wow. All right. Thanks.
I didn't think about this segment until today. I was actually creating it right up until Dan arrived for the podcast.
That was pretty cool.
Today, so I didn't get
liked
to do the final Jeopardy. That is what I wanted to do. It wouldn't have mattered, I guess, in this case, but because Dan had, again, nothing to wager. Matt would have won by default.
I like that because I was annoyed
Unless
that
Matt wagered all of his points and then went down to 0 because he lost at Final Jeopardy.
Yeah, I liked it because I'm not great at dinging quickly, but
I'm good at dinging quickly.
but he's
Just
so
not
bad
good
at it that it's
apparently.
okay.
No.
Because he doesn't care about knowing the question or answer. He's just excited to
best part
be
about
I
it,
got very
saying
excited.
ding.
the best part about it is when I do the actual production of the podcast, I'm going to put in some of the Jeopardy sound effects.
Oh, even better.
Wah, 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 or whatever the fuck they do.
Well, it's mostly
I don't
just
even know
the,
what they do when you get it wrong.
doot, like when you run out of time or something like that, which happened to Dan once.
Only once.
Do the thinking noise when we're taking too long.
That's too long. You
Yeah,
guys
it
didn't
is.
think long enough.
I'm sorry.
There's only like one or two.
Well, you only gave us 3 seconds to think.
What after dinging? I mean, there was like once or twice where you guys were both sitting there, neither of you dinged, and you're like, what is the answer?
I got so afraid because there was like negative points flying all over the place.
Yeah, mostly on my side of the friggin' table.
Wrong, but
Yeah, I did pretty good.
Dan just very overzealous with his
I thought I could get it.
dinging of the questions.
At least I got one of the Metal Gear questions right. I'll take
Yeah, I
that.
think you were definitely stronger than me in Metal Gear, so
Yes.
If
so,
you want,
everything
Dan,
else we were kind of even.
oh boy.
because you put up a stink about it, I will give you 200 points back for the Nintendo answer.
Okay.
So you're
thank you
at
very
negative
much.
900.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
I don't like stay with
Are you
those
gonna call
points
and
like
tell
that.
your mom?
Yes, a little bit.
Okay, no, you start out at 0 next time. as
Okay,
well.
good. All right. So,
But now that means I have to come up with another Jeopardy board.
or maybe I'll have to come up with a Jeopardy board.
Yeah,
No.
we could switch it up.
I don't have confidence in either one of you to actually do it.
I'd be mad, but like,
Wow,
I get it.
thanks.
We would not do a good job.
I think I would do a good job.
Moving on to our discussion topic for the week, brought to you by Katie from Ireland through Dan. We're going to talk about video game music, the importance to video music in video games, and also our favorite video game music soundtracks. Considering it was your discussion topic for the week, Dan, did you want to start us off, or did you want to have maybe a roundtable discussion on what we think of the importance of music in video games, or
Yeah, I feel like
I like the round table.
round table.
The round table.
Shoot stuff out. 'Cause
do you want to take us off?
So, well, Katie, talked about it, about like Elder Scrolls and how she loved the soundtrack to Elder Scrolls, and I was thinking about the kind of like my favorite games and how important I don't think there's ever like in my favorite game realm, I don't think there's a favorite without some sort of like the music was spectacular or fantastic. And I feel like for some games where the game was fun, but the music and the sound effects just amplified it so much that it just impressed me so much. Like a game like Max Payne 3. Out of nowhere, I don't love the Max Payne series, but something about the soundtrack in that game, it just exponentially makes it that much better. Games like Fear, like the First Encounter Assault Recon, the game is not that fantastic, like the combat, but just the, when you're in an office area and all the lights are off and the music is absolutely terrifying and creepy, and it just makes you think that, hey, this enemy's going to come out and attack you. Kind of like when you were playing Soma, it reminded me when I was playing Soma of how like terrifying the sound effects, the soundtrack was when the enemy was around.
Yeah.
And how that really, like I said, it took it to a different level. Whereas, even a game that as much as I love, excuse me, I shouldn't say love at all, that I liked, but it didn't do it like Rage 2. Like the music was just subpar. But then
it was just rock music.
it was, but then you go to Doom, which is the same style of game, but just the music alone,
perfect for that.
Isn't that more like kind of retro wave type music?
no,
in that game?
it's more hardcore.
fast.
Like but something. It was the same kind of music as Rage,
Doom
but
just
just
did it
Rage just Doom just did it so much better. Even and I understand, obviously Doom has a nostalgic factor to it, and some of the soundtracks were redone versions of like the original Doom, but even then they had some soundtracks that were completely new to the Doom series, and it still like got your blood pumping. It made you want to push through. And like I said, I was going through all of like my favorite games and just realizing like not one of them has a bad, like a soundtrack that's subpar. Silent Hill 2 is easily one of my favorite horror games simply because the soundtrack was so terrifying and also so, Matt would know as he played it a lot.
Yeah, like when you were talking about when you brought up the subject, I started thinking about, what games do I think have good soundtracks? And then I was telling Andy, I was like, Jesus, this is just going to be a list of my 10 favorite games. And it made me realize, like, even more than I thought, how important music and atmosphere and like building the world just based on sound is to a game. Like, it can really. I don't have any games that I'm really like, oh, this game's amazing, but the music is really bad. Like, it's super important.
It is.
I actually brought a couple clips. So, like, you were talking about Silent Hill. I'll just.
Ooh, I'm gonna know like exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like, imagine
it's so
being
eerie
scared
and
you don't have a lot of ammo, and you're like you've been running, and you finally get to like a somewhat safe area, and like you hear a mute sound like this, and it
I'm getting goosebumps just listening to this
like,
because I've played it so much.
If this music wasn't that good, if it was just like random noises that were like, ooh, a little spooky, it would be like, oh, okay, this is interesting, but you wouldn't be like breathing faster and like really creeped out and like really pulled into the world like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's one of the best parts of that game.
Well, there's two things in Silent Hill 2 that immediately come out to me as like ominous but like spooky in a way, and it's that long initial path when you first go down that path, and then it's all like smoky, and you're just trying to find that path where you find the radio.
Yeah.
You walk that obnoxiously long path,
yeah.
and on top of that kind of ominous music that they play in the background, you hear like dogs barking and like flesh being like ripped open, and you hear all this stuff, and it's just like I can't see anything. I don't know what the hell where I'm going. There's that, and then just after a boss fight, you get on the boat and you head to the hotel, and it's that music that you play. I don't want to spoil anything in case you want to play it, Andy.
Is the hotel on an island? Why did you need a boat to get to a hotel? It's irrelevant to our
I think it was on
conversation.
I think it was on the other side of a giant lake.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
and at one point you go into this boat and you canoe through, but it's all
It's kind of this slow
it's all
build up
foggy.
after you've been through a ton, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh god, this is like
And
it's
something
too peaceful for what's happened before and what's going to happen.
But not only that, the music was just so great too, and it was kind of like peaceful, but it, just like that music that Matt just played, it has like this kind of feel
can't
to
be
it.
overlooked that it's more than just having a good soundtrack in a game. There's a lot of different elements that go into it. There's the soundtrack, like the overall music and the composition of that music. Then there's also sound design. That's things like the sound effects you hear at certain times to give you a certain feel, but also matching the right music to the right moments in the game.
Oh, absolutely.
Something that came to my mind as instantly, like there's soundtracks to games where I can't just listen to them on their own. For instance, the Zelda franchise in general, like Zelda
Really?
as a whole, has always had very good music, but Breath of the Wild in particular,
Oh God,
got that CD with the game, with the version of the game. I got like the deluxe edition or whatever it was. And the music on its own just wasn't all that fantastic. But when you're in the game, they play it at the correct moments. The overworld doesn't have like a sweeping orchestra like the other games because it's supposed to be a very empty, desolated world, and it feels like that. And you get these little glimpses of like chiming in of music at certain moments, like certain moments of clarity, and you can kind of feel that with the music. So while as a soundtrack, I don't think it works, I think it's good sound design in the game.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of like when you're playing the first Halo game, and like they've got that basically one amazing song, and like the sound, it's fine when you're normally playing the game, but you get to a part where everything's building up and there's this kind of a crescendo, and then you start hearing like the da 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 da, and like you're on your warthog and you're trying to get through like some area really quick, and it's such perfect timing. Like if they did that at any other time, just during a normal fight, it wouldn't be that great, but because everything's building up, it's worked so much better.
You can feel it. Like the music isn't necessary to make a good game, but it can put it up even further on a pedestal and set it apart from other games.
Well, that's why I was saying with Max Payne, like one of my it's not even like my favorite game ever made. It's just something I liked. But there's this one moment where he, obviously, or in the first game, both his wife and his I think it's his daughter died or were killed by drug dealers they broke into his house and they were trying to find anything like money, something valuable that they could sell to get drugs. And at one point he starts out, he's in a cemetery seeing them, and just trying to talk to them. And then you see, or you kind of hear behind you some rustling of like footsteps, and you hear like, "Are you Max Payne?" And the music, like as he gets up to like, it was very cinematic, but as he gets up and slowly turns, like that's when the music starts. And it's, like I said, even just thinking about it, it's kind of just, it made my hair stand on end. And then all of a sudden, he's like, "Fuck you." And that's when he pulls out a gun and just, blows them all away. Yeah, like it just escalated that moment from good to great. Like I feel like I'm realizing that certain games can really make just a good moment to a great moment. Mass Effect was another one that did that with a lot of moments. Like probably one of my favorite like creepy moments or kind of like awe moments in gaming was when did you both play Mass Effect?
No, not really. I played it briefly, but
see, it's not really
keep waiting for them to re-release it on newer gen consoles.
It's not a spoiler. I don't know if you know anything about the enemy in the game, or the main enemy in the game.
You can probably say it, and I won't remember.
I mean, it has been out for like 15 years. So, but anyway, at one point, you're the Geth are these like robots that you think are the main enemy of like basically the whole game. Like they're like the stormtroopers, and you think also this one guy is the main enemy. But then you go into this room and you hit a button, and all of a sudden this 3D image of a ship that you've seen previously pops up, and it starts talking to you in this demonic like voice, and starts like talking to you as if you're it's actually communicating with you, and you're like, what the hell? This is a ship. Like, this isn't a thing. And it basically starts to tell you, like, you are puny. You are, minor to me. You don't matter to us. And at one point he talks to you and he's saying, you're like, oh my God, these are the Reapers that we've heard about. And he's like, Reapers, a name given to us by a weaker race, and it's just absolutely terrifying. I'll have to find the music that they play in the background and the talk that he has, or the conversation he has with you. It's just absolutely terrifying. And it's funny too, because on YouTube there's they even give it like a title of this part of the game. I think it's called Conversation with Sovereign, I think is his name. But it's just absolutely terrifying. Here, I'll play it here.
This is not good. You are not Saren. What is that? Some kind of VI interface? Rudimentary creatures of blood and flesh. You touch my mind, fumbling in ignorance, incapable of understanding. I don't think this is a VI. There is a realm of existence so far beyond your own, you cannot even imagine it. I am beyond your comprehension. I am sovereign.
I just getting like my hair is standing on it, just the music and the sound effects of that one
That
part.
sounds ominous, but you probably
And
need to play the
seeing
first like 30 hours to really get the
Yeah,
feel of
I think
that.
for Matt and I, with no frame of reference to us, that just sounded like
well, just think of it this way: the whole game, or for
evil guy music. It almost sounded like when Rita Repulsa was in Power Rangers and like the music they would play behind her. Like just like that kind of generic violin evil music. Like
well, I think the idea was the sound effect with that, just the music in the background just made it that much better. And again, this is a moment in the game when you realize that the main enemy of the game is not who you think it is. It's actually this ship that actually has a mind of its own.
That's an example where you probably remember the moment more than the music in that point, though.
Oh, see, I thought that music was great. Just kind of that well, see, I'm thinking of a part that the sound effect and the sound, like the actual music, made it that much better.
You mentioned Rage a little bit. Is there any games you guys can think of? Because this was actually harder for me than doing the actual assignment. Are there any games where you feel like the music was just really bad or the sound design was really bad? I could think of one off the top of my head, and only one.
I'm sure I played a bunch. They don't.
Do you know
They're forgettable.
stand with me.
They're forgettable.
Do you know what one came to my mind?
What's that?
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Really?
Do you know why?
Why is that?
So, Matt, what song do you remember the most from Kingdom Hearts 3?
Toy Story.
Toy Story World.
You got a friend in me.
Yep. You hear
They
that.
ruined that?
You hear that on a 30-second loop for hours. Every place in that game.
Well, just in the Toy Story world.
No, every place in that
Well, yeah.
game, you hear the song there on like a 30-second loop. It's a very short loop, and it just gets really monotonous after a while.
Yeah, it's funny. Toy Story Land was the only part of that game I actually liked, because I think part of it was because I liked that song so much. Like I liked that.
Yeah.
The whole it brought you the whole feel of like you're in the Toy Story movie.
They just didn't make the loop long enough, and it stood out to me because I was watching my girlfriend play it, and I'm just like, "Hun, do you realize that song is playing like every 5 seconds? Like it just keeps going on and on and on."
Oh, I do remember you talking about that. Yeah.
There was a Power Rangers beat 'em up that did the same thing. Angry Joe reviewed it, where it did the same thing, where it was even worse. Like it was no "You Got a Friend in Me." Like at least that song's somewhat tolerable.
yeah.
But that was the only example that came to my mind. Yeah, there's a lot of bad games that probably don't have good music, or they have like really generic music. But I thought of too many that had good music and good sound design.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a little Final Fantasy VIII theme in the background for a second. So
Was this the opening?
Oh,
cinematic?
Final Fantasy
so
VIII.
this brings back all the memories to that game. But so I went to an orchestra like a couple years ago. It was just a regular orchestra. It was about a lot of old people. It wasn't any video game related thing, and it was interesting. But I kind of came to realize that the best composers are kind of in the movies and in the video game realm. Like you don't really have a lot of memorable orchestra themes that are coming out now. But you think of like John Williams with Star Wars, or you think of Harry Gregory Wilson
Zimmer.
With Halo.
with Metal Gear. Did he do it? Yeah, he did.
I think he did Halo as well.
And then Nabiatsu or something.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
The guy who's
Resident
kind of
Evil?
famous. No, he's famous for all the Final Fantasy soundtracks.
Oh, okay.
Like right up to the current one.
Oh, Nobu.
Neobots. Oh God, I'm butchering it.
Could look at the name and know, but
Yeah.
all right. So, Dan, is there anything you can think of where you can think of like a bad sound design or something that just stood out to you as being bad sound design in a game, or a bad soundtrack in a game?
I can't really. Just a lot of them end up being forgettable, and I think that's the biggest problem. Then there's games that are subpar, but then, like I said, the soundtrack can make it that much better. Like I can think of the opposite. Like No Man's Sky has a great soundtrack, but just kind of the moment to moment is kind of dull.
Yeah.
Do you remember the part in the first Resident Evil game where it's not its own music that they created, but you play for one of the puzzles. You have to
piano?
play Moonlight Sonata.
Yeah, an actual sonata. Yes.
On the piano, and it's this lull in the action between all these scary parts, and then you're just playing this classical piano music song, and it's just like so eerie just because you're playing it in a Resident Evil game that it wouldn't evoke those emotions if you were playing it anywhere else or heard it anywhere else. That it's just kind of like crazy that your mind works that way.
Yeah.
Yep, and I did see. It's funny. I actually did not know that was a real song. I thought it was something that they just made up. It also didn't help that at the beginning, like she's trying to learn it and she keeps fucking up. So you hear like dun dun, dun, da, da, da. Like, oh, I fucked up. I'll get better. And then she tries it again.
Or that's like in Wind Waker or like Ocarina of Time. You know when you played a bad note.
Oh God.
Do you guys have like your absolute favorite soundtrack in a game?
Well, I think that's what we're going to go into. So that was the exercise.
Yes.
As a whole, Dan, do you want to start us off?
I hope I'm not stealing this from someone.
Are you gonna say Metal Gear?
No.
That's not mine.
No. I would have to say my favorite soundtrack of all time, because I can always go back to it regardless of if I'm listening to it at work or just playing it. I would blast it, is Final Fantasy X.
10.
I
have a song from that I had.
It is just everything about even the other night.
Absolutely nothing about that soundtrack.
That's Besaid Island.
Yeah, this isn't even one of the most famous songs like these two Xanarkin, but it's just like always it's
very peaceful, and that's actually one of the ones I'm thinking of.
I always like to play it in my car because it's just so peaceful.
Peaceful, yes.
Yeah, it's kind
so
of crazy.
yeah, Besaid Island is one of them. But I remember I was half asleep the other night, and our TV had an advertisement for Final Fantasy 15. I'm sorry, not Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 10. And it just like immediately I kind of like woke up and I just smiled. It just made me think of everything from Final Fantasy 10. That was absolutely great. And like I said, it was like an emotional roller coaster with that game. So I'd have to go with overall my favorite soundtrack to listen to. I'm always ready for it. Is Final Fantasy X.
I love that. The two Xanarkin song is amazing.
Yes. I wasn't. It's funny. They actually did. I don't know if you played the PlayStation 4 version.
I did.
You did. Where they tried the new version.
I did it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm going back. I was like, it's still good.
I did it on Besaid Island, and I was like, this isn't the song I want.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, no, I'm going back.
It's pretty early in the game.
It's funny too, because like it's even playing Resident Evil 2. I don't know if you had the option to go because I bought the deluxe, which had like the music flip where you could play the original.
Yeah, I heard
the
that.
original music actually felt better in that game than the new one. I was like, wow, it still holds up to this day.
That's cool. I never tried that,
but I'm interested to hear Matt, because Matt and I seem like we listen to video game music a lot. I don't know how often you do, Andy. But
I'll switch at work between some video game soundtracks, some regular music, and then new retro wave I'll play. So I'll kind of like do a mix depending.
Yeah, okay.
So for my game, this isn't going to be a big surprise, but it's the only game I've ever actually bought the soundtrack for. I imported it from Japan. It's Final Fantasy VII. It's like a 4-disc soundtrack. Is that yours too, Andy?
But I do have that soundtrack.
You burned that for me.
I burned it for myself. I don't actually own the soundtrack. My friend had the Japanese version of it, and he let me burn it.
Yeah. So there's
Did you let Feeney borrow it in college? Was it Feeney who let me borrow it? That'd be funny.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. That would just be a funny coincidence.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of amazing songs and music in that game, like Sephiroth Symphony and like all sorts of ones. But I think what really draws out for me, I'm going to play Sid's theme in the background, is that each of the characters has their own like kind of theme.
Their walking music.
Let's see if I can get it. It kind of has like each of their characters has their own theme that really kind of like brings out that that character or their story arc or part of the game where. Okay, here it is.
Sid's theme is actually one of my sneaky favorites from that game.
Yeah, because like when even just hearing this, you think of him on the spaceship trying to get.
I just
be the first man in space.
Yeah,
and then like all the stuff that's going.
This
down
is when
at
they're
the
trying to
time.
like fire the rocket. Right?
Yeah, exactly, and it's like super intense.
I haven't played this game in years.
Yeah, it just brings back all those emotions, and specifically for that, it's not even for the game; it's for that character. And they have these for Red 13 too. They have these for like a bunch of the different characters where it's very unique. And then again, obviously, Sephiroth Symphony, all those famous other songs are really great too.
Yeah. Final Fantasy VII, that soundtrack means a great deal to me.
Considering too, like when the game trailer dropped and even a sound effect happened, you immediately
like the load screen.
He knew immediately just from a sound that you knew. It was it.
The newest trailer that came out, you mean? Like
yes,
recently?
There was a sound, and you knew. I was like, holy shit.
That was during the PlayStation State of Play.
Yeah,
as soon as that's burned into my memory. The sound effects in that game are very memorable, but just that soundtrack does mean such a great deal to me, and almost any of the songs from the game I can mimic in real life, and each one fit the tone to the area. It was very like
mimic in real life, like play it,
just
sing in your head.
Yeah, like
Let's say you bust out a piano and start playing these songs.
I can hum along with them, and not be able to skip a beat. And it was very old school RPG-ish where the song changed depending on, which area you went into. It's not like games today where there's like a gradual change depending on what you're doing in the game. It was a loop that was playing in the background, but each one
even like the open
area.
world or something is just really memorable. And
it's very
the fight music,
everything's all orchestral. My favorite thing is the boss battle theme with that like heavy guitar, just to tell you like this boss is a little bit tougher. The song title was even just called More Fighting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Gold Saucer. I love the Gold Saucer theme. It made me feel like I was in like a Wonderland, especially with all the colors. For me, Final Fantasy VII actually isn't my favorite soundtrack though.
Yeah, I'm surprised to hear that.
This was very hard for me because there was a lot of games where not only could I think of a favorite soundtrack, but I also dug a little deeper and I thought of overall sound design in games. So there's a lot of games. A lot of games came to my mind like Grand Theft Auto Vice City, where like just hearing like the radio in the distance playing that 80s jam like really put you into the mood of the game or the things they had on the radio, really put you into the theme of the area. Or Fallout, where you hear all of that like really like old-timey classical music throughout the world. Or BioShock, similar thing where you hear that kind of like that 50s style music kind of throughout.
Yeah, it really seems to help with like time period, kind of like what you're saying with period pieces. Like when you're playing Vice City and you hear like flock of seagulls, I ran so far away, driving a motorcycle and you're jumping over a giant purple sign. It's like you're there. You're in the 80s.
Sound design plays a lot more into video games than I think anybody thinks, and I felt like my answer is kind of a cop-out answer, just judging from what
I said Final Fantasy VII. That's like
I know,
the most basic answer that
I actually said something that wasn't actually my favorite game, but I just love the soundtrack.
Well,
Boom!
This isn't my favorite game, nor is it a game at all. It's the Zelda franchise overall, I would say, because just Zelda music, every game, even Breath of the Wild, where I didn't necessarily enjoy the soundtrack, it still had its own kind of unique sound to the game. Every one of them did. Wind Waker had a unique sound. Ocarina of Time had a unique sound. Even the old ones, which established like the main overworld theme. And
even like the Link grunts are like unique. Like you can hear that and know exactly what game it's not even talking. It's just the little like "Hiya" or "huh" or whatever it is.
And if I had to pick a favorite in particular, it would be the Gerudo Valley theme from Ocarina of Time. So I saw, right after Skyward Sword came out, I saw the Zelda Orchestra live. It was the CD that came with the game of Skyward Sword. Came with because of the 25th anniversary of Zelda. It came with the 25th anniversary soundtrack, and I saw them live in Boston. And they played through all the songs, and they didn't play Gerudo Valley, and I was very sad. But then they came out for an encore, and they played one of the most beautiful renditions of that song. So they played the song, and then they got to the middle, and it just got so... I'm going to play it here for everybody, since Matt and Dan are doing that.
That's
so
what I'm doing.
Too. It just... It kind of went into this lull, and then it came right back around. And every time I'm like looking for inspiration for something when I'm doing something creative or trying to think of a story element for something, this is the type of thing that I'll listen to because it's just so powerful.
Oh yeah.
That part in particular just hits that like high note for me. Then it kind of goes into the normal Gerudo Valley theme.
That's cool.
I wonder if this. Oh, okay. I had to link for a second. Yeah,
part that everybody
but it's funny because I wonder. I was on YouTube, of course, once you pop in like music once, and then it's like, oh, you want all video game music, so it kind of kept going.
We're gonna recommend you things you've already seen.
Well, one of them was. I'm wondering if this is the same orchestra that they were talking about, but basically they did. I'd probably have to say, just because of nostalgic purposes, the original Zelda was probably one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, you've talked about that a lot.
The dungeon theme, I guess they redid it for the orchestra, and the way they did it was it's actually terrifying. Like, so honestly, if they ever remade the first one and put this music,
You don't know what they did this for, though?
I don't know if this is the actual. Like, it just says 8-bit symphony of Legend of Zelda, but I don't know
I think that's a specific symphony. That's not like affiliated with Nintendo.
But
I believe that's like a different symphony, and they just do like.
Oh, Swedish Radio Symphony. Okay. But they did such a fantastic job of recreating like an old gem and making it
I
like
think they're
new.
the ones who did a really good rendition of Bloody Tears from Castlevania too.
Damn, that sounds like a terrifying thing. But I was so like when I heard this, I was like, oh my god, this could be in a horror game.
This is from the first Zelda.
Yes, so this is the dungeon theme. Well, that's the 8-bit, but then it morphs into the. Eventually, it morphs. Hang on, give it a second. There we go. So hang on.
The volume turn.
Well, they're showing that's what the original was, and then they're.
It sounds like kind of like Silent Hillish almost.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Like my hair is standing on and just listening to this, like holy crap.
Oh, it sounds very beautiful to me.
Well, they get into it later, but
It's like a slightly more ominous.
Yeah.
but imagine if you played like the new game with this in the background. I feel like
Well,
this is like an
so-
entirely different style.
That's why I picked the Legend of Zelda franchise in general, because I couldn't think of one game that the music didn't just pop in the right way for everything you're trying to do. You know?
Oh yeah. It's
Like,
just,
even in Breath of the Wild, again, where I didn't necessarily love the soundtrack, like, when you get into certain boss fights, the music really ramps up.
Oh,
for
absolutely.
them.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like Final Fantasy is a big proponent of that, where you'll go up to a regular guy and be like, "Oh, okay," but then did you beat Final Fantasy X, Matt?
Yes.
Yeah, like
I
one
have
of the big.
not.
Well, that's what I was saying, Matt. I knew you haven't beat it,
Okay.
but Lady Unalesca,
Yeah.
that was another like theme that was like, whoa, all right, like this is.
Even just in Breath of the Wild, like, you go to the barns or the stables, and it's just like kind of like this, like, kind of like, we're a farm, low country hum type music. But then when you have, I forget his name in the game, but he's like the Arudo who has the accordion. When he's there, he does a rendition of Lon Lon Ranch.
Oh yes, yes.
And he turns it into that. And it's like, that's adding like another layer to those areas.
It's like the inception of Zelda.
It's so good. But yeah, Legend of Zelda music in general, I could listen to.
Forest Temple.
For any of them. Except I guess I've
Water Temple brings back PTSD.
I don't own the version of it that had it, but the original Fire Temple, I guess they had to change that song because I guess some people were complaining that it sounded like it was too dark and it sounded like there was like Muslim chants going on in the background or something like that. And
There's definitely some sort of chant
like-
going around, but I like it. It's creepy.
So you have the original version of the game. I don't. There's like 4 versions of the original Ocarina of Time.
Really?
Oh yeah, eventually they changed what's on the shield because originally it resembled, I think, the sickle and something else, and then they changed it to just the moon.
People are diving way too much into this crap.
That's the version I have. I have like the final version of the game that was on an N64 because I got it so later in life. But
Oh, that's crazy. I wonder what version I
good,
have.
you probably have the early one of the first versions. But yeah, good sound design cannot be ignored in video games. It can really make or break a game. I don't think it's usually too noticeable if it's mediocre, but it's definitely noticeable when it's done very well.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. It's like I said, it takes it to a whole nother level. And honestly, certain parts of a game can be that much better and more memorable. I mean, one of my, it's a regular song, but in Grand Theft Auto 5, I even remember, did someone say yoga? It was that you do that mission where you do like
I hated that mission.
I know you hate the mission, but at one point the parents gets drugged and then he gets knocked out and then he wakes up to him like being pushed out of a helicopter or a spaceship or something, and then they play a song.
He's like, what are you talking
Yeah, and then he gets like crazy high, and then he gets pushed out, and basically you're free falling. But it's they played a song, and I mean it's probably one of my favorite songs. But
spam it for
I did
a long time.
And
around the time that game came out, I had to hear it a lot. I liked the song too, so it was fine.
but
That's I think that's it for today, though. So with that, boys, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitter. I'm Matt Talks Games. My name's Matt. I talk games.
I don't see you talking games on the Twitter, though. I think you should.
I probably
utilize
should.
that.
he does.
talk
He
more.
does. He does talk. You can find me, the Jeopardy loser, Dan, at Game Review Guy on Twitter.
And you can find me at Highly and Andy on Twitter. You can also find the Manabar podcast on most audio podcast apps, as well as on YouTube, where we're also doing things like Let's Plays. We're trying to get some unboxing videos on there.
Andy's going to play more Soma.
I am going to play more Soma. I'm going to be live streaming it probably tomorrow. No, sorry, Dan. I got to produce the podcast tonight. I actually have a job to do.
Oh, man.
You always say this takes like 5 seconds.
We were doing so well before. Now we're fighting. We need 30 more seconds. We can do it.
So anyways, please like, subscribe, and share. Please tell your friends if you like the podcast. We're still growing. We're almost to that.
If you don't like the podcast, tell them too. They can hate watch us. It still counts.
That's true.
Well, we want criticism, constructive criticism.
If
we
people
want
hate
comments.
us, I'd like to know why. So we can
I want to
stop
hear what
being
other
hated.
people. What is your favorite, soundtrack in the game? Why? What favorite moment was made better because, like I said, of the soundtrack? Like, we want to hear things from other gamers.
Tell me if you want to see the video game Jeopardy again. I mean, it's coming back either way, but I'd like to know.
Yeah, Andy's
3 people tell you no, and they'll be like, "No, I'm still doing it anyway."
You
Out of
guys know me
spite.
by now. I'll do my segments regardless of what people think. This was a good segment.
It was a good segment. It was a good segment.
So anyways, with that, this is
Ding.
Trophy. The Ding. And the Bargain Bin Gamer logging off.